Making the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him 2 lips like roses and clovers, and tell him that his lonesome nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone, don't have nobody to call my own. So please turn on your magic beam, Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
Ah, hello, everybody. I'll try not to give you feedback. You know what I mean. So, what is going on? Here I am. I still have my stupid, my St. Patrick's Day hat. I was feeling like a little leprechaun, something like that. So I'm like, it's hard for me to put things away. You know what I mean? And this is one of those things. What can I tell you? So, wow, yeah, I love that song, Mr. Sandman by Young Original. Their group is amazing. Go check them out, will you? You can find them. I think it's what is it? Young Original Group. YoungOriginalGroup.com. Like, share, and subscribe to their channel. I promise you, their stuff is not even gold; it's platinum. You know. I'm not being paid. This is just something I really like this song. It's a cover, of course, from the Cordettes 1952 recording. I think these guys do it way better. I don't know. Maybe we should give them all the royalties. What do you think? All right. Let's stop playing around. Good evening. I'm RJ Smith, and it's 7 p.m. Oh, 8 p.m. Sorry, I was out to dinner. March 20th, 2026 today. And this is a crazy podcast. Maybe this is your first time here. Maybe you've heard about it. Yes, I'm fucking lunatic. I have severe brain damage, and you never know what personality is going to show up. I'm just saying. I got all kinds of costumes and hats. I'm a complete lunatic. But listen, for years, right? We were told what? What were we told? For years, we were told that what am I talking? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on a different story. We're talking about the Uber Lyft um, sickos that the company has been. They've been hiring them. Now, they've always claimed both Uber and Lyft before they merged, but now they say they do background checks. That very well could be true, folks. The thing, however, sorry, I had my mic down. The thing, however, is that you can do a background check all day long, every second of every day, of every hour, and you'll never get a hit on people who are in our country illegally. They're invisible. First of all, we don't know they're here. They use a name. They get, when they get over here, they use social security numbers. It's just insane. God damn it. It's just insane, guys, Get this out of here. I don't need this. We were told that Uber and Lyft was safe, right? Tap a button, get a ride. Go home. No driver exchange, no questions, no worries. Just trust. But tonight, that trust doesn't look the same. It just doesn't. I mean, I used to use Uber all the time, guys. I used to call Ubers for my mom and friends. And when this story hit me, about 5 years ago, I first started hearing about this. When this story came out, it hit me right in the jaw. I was like, what the? So, because we didn't really see this type of violence against cab drivers, not for, SA, right? But yeah, they are hiring people with fake IDs, fake social security numbers, and now they've been caught. 115, some say 120 rapes by drivers working for Uber and Lyft. That's not me saying it. It's you can go look it up. I'm sure networks have said it and everything else. It's just my turn to get around to it because I have a very unique view on this. You all know I hate sex offenders. Can't stand them. But I'm also, I have to act normal out in society. I can't go to the courtroom and start screaming at second minute, right? I mean, there's a way we have to act. But when it hits us in the face, like this story does, holy shit. You know, across the United States, dozens of women are now coming forward. Why? They're saying the same thing, folks. It's nothing new. Different cities, different drivers. But look, it's the same old story. They got in the car expecting to go home like I have, like my friends have, like my loved ones have. They didn't expect what happened next, right? Lawsuits are piling up. And you know, the allegations of sexual assault by rideshare drivers, insane. Not one case, not two, as I always say, a pattern. And here's what makes this different. This system only works because you trust it. If you knew or suspected that you were going to get on a bus tomorrow and Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock were going to get on there and it's going to turn into a terrorist thing, you wouldn't get on the fucking bus, right? Well, now you're starting to learn that these drivers for both ride shares, and imagine the Waymo cars where there's actually no driver. Imagine what can happen there. So you don't know the driver. You don't know the car, right? We don't know till you just pick what kind of car. Boop, boop, pick car, how much you're paying, blah, blah, blah. Guy shows up. You don't know who you're really getting into that car with. You just don't. You know what the app tells you, right? A name, a photograph, a rating. That's it. And that's enough until it isn't. Look, critics say the safety net has holes in it. No checks. No nothing. Background checks? That don't catch everything. Trust me, as a criminologist, I'm telling you. Doesn't mean anything. No universal fingerprinting? Because a lot of cab companies, you have to get certified and you get a medallion, a license. This, you just need a driver's license and an app. No required cameras. That should be inside the car, right? That makes sense. And when some women say they reported what happened, they say nothing happened next. No answers, no accountability, just automated responses. And in some cases, a refund. A refund. The company say they're improving safety. That's what they said. Panic buttons, ride transactions, new features. But technology can't stop criminality. It can't stop intent. Look, it can only record what happens for after. And look, for years, one company in particular has built its image as the safe alternative, right? Friendlier, more human, more trustworthy. But safety is not a brand. That's a system. And systems can fail. So this isn't about every driver. Millions of rides happen every day without incident, you know? But when even a few go wrong, in the 24-hour news cycle, the damage doesn't disappear, right? So look, tonight, I'm asking the questions that don't have easy answers. Are the background checks enough? Are reports taken seriously? And when something goes wrong, who is responsible? Because look, this entire system runs on one thing: trust. And right now, that trust is cracking. So let's go. Let's check it out. See what the hell is happening. I have many stories for you tonight, folks. I had so many. I'm telling you, I'm sick to my stomach. Um, just all the stuff I had to go through so you didn't have to. But what do you think? I think I'm just having another attitude right now. I play like a dunce or something. No, look, guys. It's a serious thing. I'm not laughing at that. I'm just laughing. We have a good time together here, right? All right. So the first thing I have to do is pull up. Why am I an echo? No echo. Thank you. Hello, hello. Yeah, sounds good, right? You guys are hearing me all right out there? Good. So let's get to some videos. I have a lot. I came across so many of these sick bastards that worked for these companies. It was making me literally sick. I had to stop. You know what I mean? I had to just stop. So, of course, an hour ago, I realized, oh shit, I don't think I put the show together. I ran into the studio. Here I am. I have videos of the sickest, most deranged cases that I went through over the last 24, 72 hours. Then I have statements from both Lyft and Uber, along with police reports and studies and more videos. I have lawyers who are suing them. I have all kinds of stuff. So hang in there. Let's get to the very next show, shall we? There we go. All right. So we're talking about drivers who turned monsters, right? The art is absolutely insane. Love it. Fantastic. She couldn't escape. Welcome to your ride. And the guy's got the dirty teeth and the beady eyes, and he just looks scruffy and dirty. But the reality is that most look normal. You can't tell. It's not like, they have a sign around their neck, right? Hold on. This is very uncomfortable. And then, of course, the lady you're looking at, if I was making this movie, okay, let me just go back to what I know. If I was making this movie, I would have the lady in the back of the Uber, her hands against the glass, her face scrunched against the grass, and screaming, ah! So that's where I got that from. Hey, did a good job on it. Thanks, guys. Hold on one second. Let me see if any of you, I'm going to open up the comments for you guys. There you go. That not happening. You got it. Oh, I don't want no placeholder. Hold on, guys. I'm going to get rid of this. This is garbage. That's not going to let you chat. Okay. Okay. You should have it on YouTube there. Yeah, you got it. Okay. So we're talking about these insane sick people. Let me ask you a question. Let me just say, what do you guys think? How many Uber and Lyft drivers have been arrested for RAPE? Take a wild guess. 10, 20, 100 maybe? Well, if you said 115 to 120, you're right, because that's exactly how many rapists have been arrested and charged, and many have been sentenced. I have a lot of that stuff for you tonight. So let's go ahead and pull up the first video, and we'll say goodbye to this great artwork up here. Wow, they made me look, 10 years younger there. Look at that. All right, here we go, folks. I'm going to publish that. We're going to pull up the videos and get right to it. Again, that's at the beginning of every stream, you see what I put up there, right? Enter at your own risk, because, this is some serious stuff we're talking about. And, people shouldn't see it unless they're of the right age, if you know what I mean. Okay? All right. Let me publish this back to live mode, preview, and let's go. Okay. Here we go. So this is the first video. I don't think I had that first, though. That's at the end, right? Right, slot one. Yeah, I got it. Okay. All right, so slot one. This is a CNN report that really blew open the entire thing. I mean, it was kind of hush hush, But then, the media got a hold of it, and boom, it's like on every news station, but nobody's really giving you the down and dirty. It's all sanitized so that you get only a version of what's happening. I say F that. Uh I want to give you the down and dirty. I want you to see what it really is. I don't want to give you some bullshit that's not true. So in Boston, Uber driver was charged with, you know what, to a passenger. It's on the screen. I don't want to say it. Growing list of problems for car service company. Yes. And as you'll see, it's both rideshare. So Lyft and Uber, even though it's one company, they still have different brands. So let's start it off. Here we go, folks. Enjoy.
Downtown Sydney during the deadly hostage crisis, Uber found itself in the headlines again, and not for good reason. As car demand surged, the service used in more than 250 cities around the world charged passengers 4 times the normal rate with Uber's controversial surge pricing. The company soon apologized and began offering free rides, but the damage was done. It's the latest in a string of high-profile mishaps for Uber, whose high-speed growth from a few employees, no-name company, to an international juggernaut has led to a series of troubling issues. Everything from price gouging and privacy invasion to allegations of assault and rape. In Boston, authorities just announced that an Uber driver has been charged with rape and kidnapping. Police say the victim was driven to a secluded location where the driver beat and sexually assaulted her. The company, in a statement, calling the crime despicable. Uber has been working closely with law enforcement and will continue to do everything we can to assist their investigation. And in New Delhi, a driver had also been accused of a similar crime. That is, the company stresses that safety is its #1 priority and that it is working on security enhancements. But there have been other recent issues. In San Francisco, the company's hometown, and in Los Angeles, a lawsuit filed by the DAs accuses the company in part of misleading customers about driver background checks. In Portland, Madrid, and Bangkok, Uber has been ordered to cease operations amid allegations it wasn't complying with local laws. In Paris, a court has banned its lower-cost service Uber Pop after the taxi industry protested. All of this for a company that just launched 4 years ago and is now valued at more than $40 billion.
As an entrepreneur, did you ever think that you'd be running a car service?
Absolutely not.
That's Uber CEO Travis Kalanick back in the early days, explaining to me the original vision behind the company.
It was for me, my co-founder, and our 100 friends to be able to push a button and an S-Class Mercedes rolls up. And that was it, right? But everybody wanted it. All of our friends wanted it, and their friends wanted it, so we just...
What the hell? All right, hold on now. Hold on now. Let me stop this here. I did not hear the freaking video. What the hell? Wow. That's crazy.
of people in cities across the country and around the world want.
Industry says security and safety are clearly
passengers between mid-December and last week. Police say the driver would scout. An Uber driver in San Luis Obispo is accused of raping 4 passengers between mid-December and last week. Police say the driver would scout out parties or bars and then target young drunk women. He would then trick inebriated victims who had ordered an Uber into thinking he was their driver. He then took the victims to his home where he sexually assaulted them. He used Venmo as an alternative paying system to mask his identity and Uber records. His arrest prompted police to warn customers to only make payments through Uber and to always confirm the driver's identity through the Uber app before getting in.
Testing 1 2. Hello, hello, hi guys, how are you? So here I have this other video. I wanted to wait until I got this all set up. I think I got everything fixed. Sorry about that, guys. Should have probably came in a little earlier tonight, but I was late. So that's what I rush. You know, I don't want to not put it up because then you guys are like, oh, he was not going to show up today. He's not going to show up tomorrow. Right? Hello, hello, hi guys, how are you? All right, RJ, don't touch your phone. What do we? So the next one. This guy is a 4-time loser. check this out. I think this is rapist. Here's how an accused rideshare rapist may have beaten the system to become a Lyft driver. So, all right, guys, here we go.
San Francisco police arrested 37-year-old Orlando Vilches Lazo last week. Police say DNA evidence links him to 4 rapes dating back 5 years. They say he posed as a ride-sharing driver who picked up women outside bars and clubs, then raping them. Ride-sharing company Lyft says Lazo is a former driver and it's investigating how he passed its security checks. There's a driving record check. It looks at any moving violations and DUI arrests. The background check looks for any criminal record, including sexual offenses. You have to have a valid driver's license and insurance on a car that's registered. Lyft says its drivers must be eligible to work in the U.S. That means being a citizen, having a green card.
Well, that hasn't really gone that well, has it? They're not really stopping what they need to stop. So, yeah, I don't know. DMV, first of all, DMV check is only going to tell you if somebody has a clean record of driving, got nothing to do with crime. And a background check will only help people it will only help determining those who have been convicted and have a file. Otherwise, if they're from another country and, they've never been arrested in the U.S., there's no way to know. And that's another problem when you have illegal immigration and open borders. People come in. We all know, we watch the movies. We've been around a while. I've been around at least 40 years. So, hey, I'm doing well. But look, we all know. Check this out now. Let me finish this out.
Work visa or a student visa, and a social security number, which means you have to be a legal U.S. resident and provide documents. But Lyft says Lazo fraudulently represented himself. There's another reason why he passed the background checks.
This defendant, as far as I can tell, has no criminal history.
One footnote, neither Lyft nor Uber requires drivers to get fingerprinted. The State Public Utilities Commission sided with the ride-sharing companies in its ruling last fall that it was unnecessary.
Really? Unnecessary? Wow. For who? Because the people are certainly, terrified. This is the Boston one. We did that. Then we have Lyft. Lyft is right there with the best of them, and not in a good way. Check this out, guys. This is another really bad one.
I'm Boston 25 News reporter Daniel Coates outside Somerville District Court, where a Lyft driver pled not guilty to serious charges of assault and battery and rape of one of his passengers over the weekend.
Matter of Luis Reynos Texera.
The 27-year-old from Brockton walked into court handcuffed and behind glass, facing disturbing allegations from this weekend.
This is an incident that involves an act of stranger violence, and notably there is an allegation of specifically a sexual assault of that stranger.
The Lyft driver is accused of picking up a woman in Boston, claiming in court documents she was having a drink with friends and coworkers after work at the Lenox on Exeter Street before calling a Lyft around 2:30 in the morning. The last thing she remembered, police reported, was getting into the back seat of the Lyft and later waking up in the back seat with her head resting on that driver's lap. She also noticed her bra was missing and her pants were unzipped. She reportedly woke.
What the Wow. Wow. Hey, ladies, please, when you go out there and you're going to these clubs, and you're getting a little tipsy and you're taking a cab home, probably the safer bet, because those guys have to have CDL licenses, they have to all kinds of crazy shit. But if you call a Lyft or Uber, you really don't know who the person is, and you just heard them. If they have no criminal history, or if they can't find the criminal history, you could have, the Night Stalker behind the wheel. You wouldn't know it. Wow.
Woke up 90 minutes later here on Canal Lane in Somerville, rushing outside while Texera drove away. Police claim he was there with her for over an hour. She says she wasn't offered anything to drink or eat in that car, but she had a glass of champagne at work before she left and only one dirty martini at the Lennox bar. She stated no one strange to her approached her there. The woman was treated at Cambridge Hospital while police worked with...
Guys, I mean, I'm not surprised, right? Look how big this guy is. Look at the size of this freaking monster. Can you imagine a 120, 130 pound girl and this 250 pound monster? Wow. Incredible. And it's not like he's freaking disgusting, right? He's not disgusting. He looks, clean cut and everything. Just, yeah, you never know what's going on inside people's heads, guys.
With Lyft to identify Luis Carlos Ramos Texera, matching him to his white Honda CRV and working profile picture. He pled not guilty to charges of rape and assault and battery Monday.
Court has ordered that you be detained without bail pending a dangerousness hearing.
Monday evening, Lyft told me in a statement that this behavior is reprehensible and has no place in their community. In the meantime, they've banned Texera from all platforms and are willing to help in this investigation as it moves forward.
Here's the thing. The incident already happened. What can you help with? Honestly, what can you help these victims with? Nothing. Oh, we're thinking of our passengers. We're thinking of that don't mean shit. You need to change policy. You need to do background checks. People have to be somehow confirmed to be a citizen or a legal resident. Then you can do background checks and you're pretty confident you'll get most of the hits back. But still, if someone's from another country and they haven't committed a crime here, nobody's going to know about it. All right, so let's move on, guys. That's 3 of the worst cases right there I wanted to show you. And I think now we're getting into investigative stuff. This is when it was really, really big. It's very short. It's only 2 minutes, but this is a teen, okay? A teen who murdered his dad. I don't know why this is in here. Why is this in there? Slot 6?
Investigation reveals more than 100 Uber drivers have been investigated for sexual assault, including at least one here in San Diego. 10 News anchor Lindsay Pena is live with more on the local connection and what Uber is doing to combat this problem. Lindsay?
Well, Kim, Uber says they provided more than 2 billion trips in the last 4 years. Most of those were routine, but it's the handful that are now under investigation that are causing concern.
A young woman, her image blurred to protect her identity, reporting to police that she'd been raped by an Uber driver. Our 10 News cameras there as the story began to unfold. She'd been at a bar and had too much to drink.
He waited till they passed out, and then he had his way with them. And to compound it, he videotaped it so that he could relive it over and over and over again.
That driver, John David Sanchez, was eventually arrested, convicted, and sentenced to 80 years in prison. Investigators say he drugged...
80 years will certainly hold him. 35 now, maybe, 40. 85 years. Where did this happen? I'm sorry, I didn't catch where this happened, but depending on where it is, okay, where are we at? We're at 106. Let me go back and find out where this happened.
Reveals more than 100 Uber drivers have been investigated for sexual assault, including at least one here in San Diego. 10 News anchor Lindsay Pena is live with more on the...
And sentenced to...
All right, so San Diego. So California, look, they're pretty rough. 3 strikes, you're out, California's rough. So I imagine if you, do stuff like this in a state like California, Florida, Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi, Georgia, Kentucky, Arizona, New Mexico. Those places will put these people behind bars forever, which is where they need to be because these guys, when they go to, let me tell you as a criminologist, let me tell you what happens. When these guys go to jail or prison, forget jail, they're going to prison, big difference. They go there and, if they don't have a lot of time, they basically are perverted and they get in all kinds of trouble with the female guards because they have a thing called gunning, where when the females work on the pods or tiers, these guys will go to their door and look through a little piece of plastic all scratched up, supposed to be a window but no glass. And yeah, they're jacking their thing, you know what I mean? Looking at the women and constantly getting put in the hole for that. So there's no rehab. When these guys get out, if you let them get out, then these guys are going to continue the behavior they did on the street, but also continued in the prison system. Now, the sexual, what is it? The sex registry, I think, for these guys. Great idea, sex registry. Great. Fantastic. Yeah, I got nothing against that one, guys. Let's continue.
80 years in prison. Investigators say he drugged and assaulted multiple victims. According to a new CNN investigation, Sanchez is one of at least 103 Uber drivers accused of sexually assaulting or abusing passengers in the last 4 years. Uber issued the following statement that reads in part, "These stories are horrific and our hearts go out to the victims. We recently strengthened our safety approach with new features, including an emergency button, driver screening improvements, and the addition of the former Secretary of Homeland Security to head up Uber's Safety Advisory Board." Uber says they do conduct a criminal background check and rerun checks for current drivers.
Okay, so what I would say to that is what I took away from that, which is what you probably took away from it, is 103 deviants in 4 years. Imagine, just think about this for a minute. Can you see that? Yeah, okay. Just think about that for a minute. 4 years, that's what? 25? 27? Something like that. 27 a year, guys. That's every other week. Are you kidding me? All right, so Uber put out a press statement. And the most latest one is from February, March 2026. It was $88.5 million jury verdict in February, where Uber was found liable for the rape of a passenger in Arizona. Now, the spokesperson for Uber issued a statement defending the company's safety record. So this is what they're saying. Safety record. The Uber maintains a 99.9% of rides occur without a safety incident. I would call that into question, right? I would want to see the data on that, because what about robberies or accidents or, just regular thefts? If we add all those numbers in, how many Uber drivers have been robbed, how many this or that, it's going to be a lot higher than that. That's a bullshit number. Uber maintains a 99.9% safety. Yeah, responsibility. So the company has argued that the verdict was improper, stating it has invested meaningfully in rider safety and plans to appeal. They can appeal until they're blue in the face. They're not going to win the appeal. In fact, since they're appealing, that $8.5 million, they will need to put down 10% of that. And also they'll be paying interest on that in case if they lose the appeal, they're going to be paying much more than $8.5 million. Because then they're going to be paying lawyers' fees. They're going to be paying all kinds of stuff. So that's a low number too. Uber continues to argue it should not be held liable for the criminal acts of drivers. Yeah, I don't think that's going to fly. First of all, you hire them. Now they're saying that because they're independent contractors, they're not responsible. Take away the independent there. You still have contractors. You have a contract with this person to provide services for your taxi company, really, rideshare company, right? So for you to say that you aren't liable for the criminal acts of drivers is just complete bullshit. Let me ask you a question. If you go into Macy's tomorrow, all right, forget about slipping on the floor. If you go into Macy's tomorrow and an employee hits you on your jaw, could you sue Macy's? Of course, because it's their employee. It's someone they're contracted with. It's someone that represents their brand. These drivers represent the brand. So, of course, that's a nonsense thing for them to say. It should not be liable for criminal acts of drivers. Give me a break. Any company where an employee commits a criminal act is liable under the law. So that's a good thing for me being here too, guys. I can tell you what is and what isn't bullshit and what the law is and what it isn't. The recent safety policies. Now they're claiming women-only option, March 2026. Uber recently launched a nationwide woman preferences feature in the U.S. This allows female drivers to prioritize matching with female riders, a move designed to address safety concerns. That's a great idea. Absolutely brilliant. Now, if they implement that, that would be a really good thing for the passenger. Uber has historically released U.S. safety report. You know what? Safety reports, Macy reports, whatever. Right. Safety reports are written by humans. Humans are influenced by station in life, station in employment. Doesn't mean safety reports are 100% accurate. I'm telling you, they aren't. So here are the legal and investigative findings that Uber says they're doing. So internal risk rating. This is a great term. Evidence from the 2026 trial showed Uber's internal algorithm has flagged the victim's ride as having an elevated risk. Now, as far as legal goes, when they have their internal algorithm flagging a victim's ride as having an elevated risk, wow, they're really liable now because they know that there's an elevated risk. And risk means judgment in civil court. You take a risk, a lot of times you don't win. Underreporting. So a 2025, right, investigation by the New York Times found that between 2017 and 22, Uber received, get this, folks, 400,000 reports of sexual assault and misconduct, averaging 1 every 8 minutes. What the 1 every 8 minutes. Are you serious? Wow, that's insane, man. No, that really is crazy. That's unacceptable. That is enough to shut them down, to be honest with you. Vetting criticisms. So lawsuits are alleging that Uber's background checks were built to fail, allowing violent felons to drive by bypassing more rigorous checks like FBI fingerprinting. I don't see why the fingerprinting would not be legal. I mean, if you go for certain jobs and they demand a background check, they send you to a fingerprinting either storefront or sheriff's office, police, whatever, and you do the fingerprints and you get an FBI background check. So why wouldn't they want to do that? I mean, you're talking about risk of an enormous amount here. You're talking in the billions of dollars that they're probably, I mean, I can imagine they're going to get a billions of dollar fine from the government. It's just, and they're making all the money. The drivers don't make the money, by the way, in case you didn't know that. Drivers have to pay their gas. Drivers have to put up with the bullshit. Drivers only get a percentage of the fee. So, yeah. All right, so that's what Uber had to say. And I want to show you Lyft because it sounds like they have the same attorney. So this is Lyft's press release. And they are reporting that they had 4,158 sexual assaults between 2 years of 2017 and 2019. Dude, 2 years. 700 and something days, right? So you're talking, holy crap, 3 or 4 or 5 a day? Is that right, guys? I'm not great at math, but if I'm wrong, put it in the comments below. Here's the findings, the total reports I just told you. Non-consensual touching, 2,300 reports from victims of non-consensual touching of a sexual body part. What? Are you kidding me? Non-consensual. Oh, I don't even want to say that word. You can see it. No. 360 reports of non-consensual. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. This is Lyft? Is this Lyft? This is Lyft. What else? Non-consensual. We did that. I don't want to go through that again. Trend. The absolute number of reports increases annually from roughly 1,100 in 2017 to over to 1,800 in 2019. That's a 700 incident increase in 18 months. I won't put the incident. Despite the rise in raw numbers, Lyft stated that the rate of incidents actually dropped by 19%. Total bookings grew at a faster rate. The overall incident rate was cited at 0.2%. Well, that's quite interesting because Uber says it's 99.9, which means, wow, okay, so not great. Their initiative, let's see. So Lyft is doing emergency assistant integration of an in-app 911 button. Okay, well, I guess if you see it coming, that'll work. Smart Trip Check-in, a feature that monitors rides' unexplained delays or route deviations and pings the rider or driver to check if they need help. So that's a good thing. If they stop, there's something being built into the algorithm that will notify either Uber or the police that something's not right. That's great. Along with, I would say, put a tracker in their cars. That should be a condition. If you're a contractor, everything should be on the table as far as I'm concerned. Smart Trip Check-in, a feature that monitors rides for unexplained delays. Driver education, mandatory community safety education for all drivers. Developed in partnership with RAIN, Rape, Abuse, and Incest. What? Mandatory community safety. Let's check it. What is this? What is this? RAIN. Are you kidding me? Nation's largest anti-violence organization and operator of the National Blank Assault Hotline. RAIN's mission is to stop. How do they help? They provide free services, policy. RAIN advocates, educates adults and kids to recognize, prevent, and respond to. Yeah, see, this is a tough one because they are teaching people to respond to SV. And of course, you would want everybody to be able to get out of their predicament. But you could also bring on a more severe form of violence, like a homicide so, you have to be very, very careful what you do. This is a bad situation. There's no good situation here. So Lyft puts their drivers through a sexual violence course. Okay, how are they doing it? I would love to see this course, guys. I'll try to, you know what? I'm going to find that out for you guys, okay? So that's what's going on. The disclosure followed years of litigation. So in July 2024, Lyft settled a shareholder lawsuit for $700,000. So basically, the rich got money from what happened to poor people over claims that the company concealed safety shortfalls and inadequate background checks in its 2019 initial public offering. Whoa. Oh, they're going to face a bunch of personal. Yeah, I don't think, honestly, guys, I don't think they're going to survive this. This is very hard. This is something that's very hard for them to come back from. And now I have the good news. This is the best part. This is justice. And of course, I can't, leave this out. This is vengeance, right? We all love that shit.
Before we go any further, We do need to let you know some of the details in this next story are upsetting.
A former rideshare driver already serving time in prison for sexually assaulting a passenger is back in trouble, accused of raping another woman he picked up years earlier.
News 4's John Hayes is on the night beat. He spoke with an attorney about all this. And John, these two cases are eerily similar.
They are, Jolene. In both cases, court papers say the victims had been drinking, their loved ones stepping in to help them. An attorney tells me it's scary how easy it's become for Oklahomans trying to celebrate safely to end up anything but.
I can't say I'm surprised by the defendant. Just can't say it. It's a trend, ladies and gentlemen. It just is.
It can happen to anyone. You leave a bar, have one too many drinks, and trust a stranger to bring you home.
But we have people that they seem to fall into a certain pattern, a certain crime.
And the allegations in these court papers are something former Uber driver Timothy Green is no stranger to. Now, Oklahoma County prosecutors want him back in court, alleging in 2019 he raped another female in a car in this neighborhood who needed a safe ride and was visibly intoxicated from attending a party.
We have basically a serial rapist.
Green is currently serving a 10-year prison sentence for picking up a woman from a metro bar in 2021 who had been drinking and sexually assaulting her. The victim told police she never gave Green her consent. And this just makes you mad. While this was happening, court papers say that the mom of the victim caught this man in the back of his car. This search warrant filed last week by Oklahoma City Police, adding a puzzling new layer to the case. It says a DNA match from the victim's sexual assault exam from 2019 flagged Green in connection to a similar sexual assault. But now officers want a sample directly from him to compare.
Okay, so here's what's going to happen for those of you who don't know anything about the law. He's convicted, right? He's going away for whatever years. But they've got his DNA now. And this is how a lot of cold cases are finally resolved, because these guys continue to offend. But nowadays they have to give up, any felon convicted of a felon has to give up their DNA. And that DNA goes into the DNA database with the feds. And they check that DNA. So this guy's DNA will be checked against all records going back, I think, to the 90s is where they started getting some records, late 90s. Because obviously before then we didn't have internet, we didn't have computers. You know, we had computers in the 80s, but not good. Internet didn't come to what, 94, 95. So records before that is kind of hard. But he'll be put on this registry. And let me go real quick and show you what a registry is. I know you've heard of it, but do you know what it is? You're getting the whole thing here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the whole cadoodle. This is what here in Florida it's the FDLE, but in every state, whatever state you're in, they have a Department of Law Enforcement, right? State cops, right? So all of them have this sexual predator search, and you could put anybody's name in here, you could put addresses, you could whatever, and you can search. And if you move into a neighborhood, you're notified if you leave your information and somebody moves into that neighborhood. So that's kind of a good thing. This guy, man.
Prosecutor, you want to show that, that this is a pattern of conduct.
Attorney Robert Gifford isn't connected to the case, but says these type of ride-sharing crimes are hard to hear.
It feeds a need that would not be natural or healthy or lawful.
He wants you to know not everyone has bad intentions, but others,
you don't know that person,
clearly just can't help themselves.
Whether it's a physical harm, whether it's battery, whether it's a sexual assault, or even worse. It's now
as a criminologist, let me tell you,
up an opportunity
this guy
for
just
those
said,
people.
Let me back it up, because it hit me when he said it.
Battery, whether it's a sexual assault or even worse. That person
clearly just can't help themselves.
Whether it's a physical harm, whether it's battery, whether it's a sexual assault or even worse. It's now opened up an opportunity for those people to become, to find those targets.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he said something. I want to try to. I'm sorry. I want to find it.
A party.
We have basically a serial rapist.
Green is currently serving a 10-year prison sentence for picking up a woman from a Metro bar in 2021 who had been drinking and sexually assaulting her. The victim told police she never gave Green her consent.
And this just made of the victim caught.
This search warrant filed last week by Oklahoma City Police adding a puzzling new layer to the case. It says a DNA match from the victim's sexual assault exam from 2019 flagged Green in connection to...
That's what I was just talking about. That's the DNA CODIS. So they put his DNA and it came back that, oh my God, he's got sexual RAPEs in the past. Look at this. We got a serial predator. And that's what's good about the DNA database, guys. It's really a good thing. I think they might go too far when they, for instance, I don't know how many are in this country. Let's see. It's got to be a huge, gigantic number. And one of the things I want to look at real quick, because the residency things are what's really weird. Sex offender residential issues. Now, when they get out of prison, if you've been convicted of a sex crime in Florida, you face placement on the state's X registry. I just told you that. The restriction that come from registry extend beyond your criminal sentence. It affects things like where you can live. There are certain zones within, I think it's 150 or I might be wrong, might be 500, but 1 to 500 feet, they have to live away from a park. They can't live within 500 feet of a park, a school, kindergarten, game rooms, anything like that where kids go, you know. And, you know, there's a lot of them. Let me see how many there are. How many? Let's see. United, let's go to U.S. Quick facts. Okay. So as of 24, there were 800,000 registered sex offenders in the United States. Yeah. Yeah. And here's the problem. When they get out, when you have these residency restrictions, that's why so many people live under bridges and in parks and stuff, because they just can't. Who's going to release them an apartment, right? Nobody. They all do background checks. Who's going to give them a job? Nobody. So, you know, they live in the shadows. They live as homeless people. And you really can't track that, can you? I mean, what's your address? Delancey Park. Behind the 17th tree, you'll see there's a little impression in the ground. I have a little tent there. Whatever. It's crazy. Okay. All right. So that's that. Lyft admits. Oh, yes. This is a wonderful headline here, folks. Lyft received more than 4,000 reports. Oh, I just gave you that. Of the, 4,000. Okay, here, I think I did a video on this guy last year, maybe? I'm not sure, but if you go back and look under this particular genre of videos, you'll see I did something on him. But this guy's really... He's in life in prison now, but listen to this.
In prison. The father of the victim says that he is proud of his daughter for taking the stand. Felix Torres was convicted of chasing down one of his passengers after dropping her off, then sexually assaulting her. Although the victim was not in the courtroom today, she did write a letter that was read in court, and it says in part, Felix Torres, I find peace knowing that you have received the worst punishment of all, and that is living with yourself for the rest of your life. I hope each day you sit in prison and think about how much pain you've caused another human being and their family. Wing News reporter Annalise Araola joins us now live from the courthouse in Fort Myers. Annalise, what did the judge have to say to Torres before sentencing him to life?
Russ, Amanda, Honorable Bruce Kyle said that Torres' actions were extremely predatory, said that this was not an accident or a slip in judgment. Then he...
I mean, how do you make an accident? How do you do this on accident? Why would a reporter even say that? You know, when I was a reporter back in the day, you couldn't say stuff like that. It's ridiculous. It doesn't even make sense. Jeez, these people.
He
I don't know,
sentenced him
folks.
to
The
the
media's not the
maximum
media
sentence
anymore.
of life in prison.
So many lives were changed by one man's predatory actions.
Your Honor, December 4th, 2022 changed my life forever. Since then, I wake up with anxiety and fear daily.
Before Felix Torres, a former Uber driver convicted of sexual battery with great force, was sentenced, the state attorney read the victim's impact statement aloud to the courtroom today.
My whole world has been turned upside down. After experiencing the trauma that was inflicted upon me, I sat on the stand and was forced to relive my trauma, while being questioned as if I were the one on trial and not the victim. All whilst trying to deal with the stress of worrying what would happen to me or another woman if he were to get out.
At the end of her letter to the court, the victim spoke directly to her attacker.
Felix Torres, I find peace in knowing that you've received the worst punishment of all, and that is living with yourself for the rest of your life. I hope each day you sit in prison and think about how much pain you've caused another human being.
All right, look, it's not the worst. It's not the worst. It is not the worst punishment. This guy, if he was in Florida, he would be facing the death penalty. I'm not kidding you. With Florida death penalty for sex crimes. There you go. So this is what happens in Florida when you mess with children. Louisiana, Florida. Here you go. The legislature passed a bill allowing the death penalty for sexual battery of a child under the age of 12. As it should be. I mean, I don't think you need to take a life to get the death penalty. If you're just a disgusting person like this, yeah. And you did this to a kid? Come on. Look, I was like 5 when it happened to me, 5, 4, something like that. So I'm telling you, it stays with you your whole freaking life. All right, so there are law firms lining up. This is almost at the end of this episode. I wanted you to just get a taste of how I think these rideshare companies are going to go bankrupt.
Suing rideshare companies Uber and Lyft for what it says are the shocking numbers of sexual assaults drivers are committing on female passengers. This fall, the firm is expected to square off with Lyft in a first-of-its-kind civil trial, and millions of dollars are on the line. Good evening, I'm Lindsay Pena. That firm says the ride shares are not doing enough to protect passengers. In an exclusive investigation, ABC 10 News anchor Vanessa Van Hefty talked with survivors and shares what Uber and Lyft are saying about those allegations.
We don't need to watch that because I just told you what it was. They're saying that they're not responsible for what their drivers do, which of course is nonsense, and everybody's going to find that as nonsense. I think we did it. Did we do it? I think we did. Oh, what's this? Death? What is this? Oh, death penalty. We just did that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got through it. I want to thank you for stopping by tonight. As usual, you know, I absolutely love it when you come by. And yeah, I will see all of y'all right back here. What? Let me see. Is it tomorrow? Yeah, it is tomorrow. Okay. All right, well, I'll see you then. I'm going to get out of here. I've had enough. Hey, later.